Welcome to another edition of Very Vogue with me, Val Kleinhans, a very beauty themed episode. I am so excited to have the wonderful Erica McCleskey, my Minnesota sister, in the building today. Erica, thank you for being here. I cannot wait to talk beauty and social media all with you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited. Like I
I
told you
know.
before, it's my first podcast, so I'm
Oh, they're
looking
going to be
forward to
gentle.
it.
I
Yeah.
know. No, it's fine. This really is just the two of us BSing, having a good time. That's really all I care about. And there's some beauty tips here and there too, because I think the listeners would like that as well. And I know you got us on that. I know you're
For
solid on that.
Yeah.
So let's start from the very beginning. How did your Instagram journey begin? Because that's where I found you.
I started back in like 2016, 2017. I really had no idea what I was doing or where I was going with it. I just kind of started posting about different makeup that I liked or different makeup looks that I was trying out that I ended up liking on myself. It was
Yeah.
very much like the YouTube beauty guru era, kind of when that was
Mm-hmm.
all kicking off. So I started getting into that, watching other YouTubers, and then I'd try to kind of recreate some of what they were doing. And then I was like, well, I really love watching other people. So maybe I kind of want to start doing this myself. So after work or like on the weekends and stuff like that, I would kind of do that as like my little self care time. So that's kind of how I got started. And
That's
then,
perfect.
yeah, and I found like a beauty forum through Ipsy around that time. So then you could kind of go in there and ask other creators questions who had a little more
Uh,
experience. So that really helped me a lot figuring out like the video aspect or camera aspect of it and kind of evolved along the way. So that
okay,
was
you
cool.
piqued my interest. Yeah. Forgive me if this is a totally just really stupid question, but what is Ipsy? And where can I find it? Because it sounds awesome.
Oh yeah, Ipsy is actually a subscription service, like they call it a Ipsy glam bag. So you
Oh,
can
okay.
subscribe kind of like those FabFitFun boxes or those other subscriptions where they'll mail you certain products every month. It's gotten a lot more customizable now. So
Mm-hmm.
they can actually go based off your interests and your skin tone and different things like that and send you different beauty products. But they also have like a creator program too, where they used to a little bit more, where they would do in-person events and that online forum, but that's kind of fizzled out now. So it's more just like the subscription service now.
Oh, okay. But helpful to you,
Yeah,
obviously, if you're still using it.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I get it every month and have had the pleasure of working with them a little bit. So it's been kind of cool, like a little bit full circle since it's kind of how I started getting into it and everything.
Yeah, that is awesome. So when little Erica is watching YouTube tutorials and she's like, "Oh, I want to be in on this. I want to do this." Is she watching Nikki tutorials? Are we watching James Charles? Who are we watching?
I think one of the first people that I watched was Nicole Concilio.
Mm.
Um, Let me see, who else did I watch? Jaclyn Hill. I've always loved Jaclyn Hill. Um, there were kind of some different people. Then I did watch Nikki tutorials. I still watch her, love her videos.
Yeah, me too.
Karen or I love Sarah E. I love her personality. Her videos are so fun. Those are kind of the main ones. Manny, MUA.
Okay. Yeah, he's
Those
a
are,
lot of fun too.
yeah.
So cool. Well, so you're not a person that is afraid to use multiple social media platforms. You like using different ones, and you're not afraid to try new ones. Where did you and how did you muster up the courage to try them all? Because a lot of people are so afraid to try like a different app that they haven't used before.
I always kind of picture it like you don't want to be stuck to one app because you don't know if that's going to be around forever. So I try to kind of spread myself out, but not too thin where you're like overwhelmed. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I guess I tried YouTube for a while. It just wasn't really my thing, like the long form content. I It's a lot of work to do YouTube and stuff like that. So I gave
Yeah.
it a try for a while, but now they have more of the shorts and stuff like that. So you can kind of repurpose some content, which I like. Um, Yeah, I guess just seeing kind of where the trend is going with new apps. I try to keep up with that and just make sure I'm trying to stay up to date on the newest, latest, and greatest app.
I know. I'm still trying to figure out what I really want to do with TikTok. I'm still playing with it, still messing with it, but it is important to just be open and available and try. What do you think some of the most important apps for a beauty content creator specifically are right now? What should you be using if beauty is your thing?
For sure, TikTok, that is very big right now. I feel like most of the campaigns that I've done recently have been more geared to TikTok. And I think
Mm.
it's more of like an unfiltered, or it's supposed to be more unfiltered, like raw, real content,
Oh,
not
mm-hmm.
not so produced like YouTube or Instagram maybe even is, with all the fancy lighting and cameras and equipment and everything. It seems like a lot of brands are really going back to like just basic filming, like with your phone. And I feel like that does really well on TikTok. And also, I feel like Instagram will always be one that you should kind of be on. I think being able to share your artwork in a sense with makeup in photography or videos, that's kind of nice with Instagram. Just having the versatility over there.
Yeah, that you could choose one or the other. I think if photos ever go away from Instagram, we riot. We're not
Yes.
having that. Like,
Oh,
absolutely not. Well,
I
and
hate
TikTok
that
is
they
fun.
don't push them out anymore like they
I,
used to.
I don't get it. I don't understand why not. Like, I love photos. I
Me too.
there, there's nothing wrong with them. And reels, they are a fun bonus. I mean, I kind of get sick of like seeing too many at once, but they're fun
Yeah.
just to have something different thrown in there from time to time. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, we might be seeing more of them, we might not. Hard to say. You never really know. But I know you
Yep.
and I had a fun conversation about Michaela Noriega. I think I'm saying her name right. About what she's been doing on TikTok. I was just like, girl, with Lashgate. I was like, there is no way there is a mascara out there that could do that well.
Right.
Your thoughts on the Michaela situation? Are false lashes involved, or could it be possible to really find a product that good? In all the products that you've tried, have you found one that good?
I have not found one that miraculous.
Yeah.
I think she definitely had some falsies on there. The more I saw, like on videos and people analyzing it, people went so far with like zooming in on her eyeball that you could definitely tell. You're like, she magically grew some lashes in there. So
Oh my God. If you're zooming in on, if people like zooming in on your eyeball, you've made it. Like they
yeah,
want to look at that closely.
that video has so many views though. I'm like, whether the brand knew it or not that she was wearing falsies, they got so much publicity and so many people buying that mascara just because people wanted to see for themselves if it worked that well. And I tried it. It did not work like that.
It did. It did not. Well, so
No.
did you post a reel about that where you actually tried the same project or
Yeah,
the same product?
I posted it on TikTok. Yep.
Oh, okay. So I got to go over to TikTok and see that. I'm more of a gram girl, so I got to go over to TikTok and see this. But I want
Yeah.
to see this now. And you're just like, oh, I did not have the same result. Were you disappointed when that happened, or were you just like, I expected this?
I kind of expected it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those more silicone type brushes rather than the traditional makeup or mascara wand, if you know what I
Mhm.
mean. So I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah,
those
yeah.
never work as well on my lash type. I think ones like the Rare Beauty mascara, that one's great. And
Yes,
that's
I
kind
use it
of
daily.
yeah.
Daily, girl. And I already have dark lashes, but let me tell you, Selena knows what she's doing.
And I have
I
like
love her beauty.
blonde lashes, so that one I know it's good when it makes my lashes look good because they're so light and short pretty much on their own, but that one's great. Or Maybelline the Falsies Lash Lift. That's my other.
Mm. Oh, okay, cool. So we're both big fans of Rare Beauty, obviously. Do you think the secret to the success is just the whole lightweight and natural vibe to the line. Like it's not so heavy that you couldn't wear all day, but it does last all day.
I think that's part of it. And I feel like her products are just so easy to use. Like
Yeah,
any level, no matter if you're a beginner or someone who uses makeup all the time, I feel like they work for pretty much anybody.
they do. Like, I mean, when I'm on the go in the morning, I'm just like, let me get that foundation, let me get that little bit of mascara. And then I've been loving Urban Decay's Brow Blade and Ink Stain for the brows. I've got it on now, and I'm like, we got them right, we got them tight, we're ready. And it's a really easy routine. Can can you share maybe some tips on how to keep your routine that easy, or how to look put together within a short amount of time for the girl on the go, but she wants to look put together?
Are you wanting like specific types of products?
Yeah,
I mean,
whether it's products or the way you're using the products. You're just off the top of your head, you got a friend that's hitting you up and she's like, girl,
yeah.
I need help. What would you say?
Well, when I'm in a hurry, I go back to like my high school foundation application, not the same products, but like using my
Yes.
hands a lot and stuff like that. Like when I think back to
Okay.
high school, I did not use like brushes really, other than like
Okay.
a bronzer brush or something. I probably had like three brushes. So that's kind of what I do when I'm in a hurry. I'll just stick to like three brushes super fast. I'll use my hands to put on my foundation, concealer, swipe on a little bit of powder just to set everything so it doesn't crease all over in the day.
Yeah.
Definitely some bronzer because I am pale, very pale, and I don't want to leave the house looking sickly or something.
Girl, you're
Um,
talking to Lydia Dietz incarnated over here. Okay. I know the struggle.
yeah, I always do a little bit of clear brow gel just to
Mm-hmm.
make them look a little bit more, I don't know the word, I guess, polished.
Yeah.
um, and curl my lashes, mascara, swipe on some lip gloss, and that's about all I do if I'm really in a hurry. Just something
Okay.
to kind of even out the skin tone. I like a tinted moisturizer when I'm in a hurry because it's
Mm.
super fast.
Yeah.
So,
Or even in the summer when you're not wanting to like cake everything on and you just want something that isn't so heavy when you're
yeah,
walking around
sure.
sweating all day. Because, oh, I know it's Minnesota, but it gets humid. It gets
Yeah,
humid here in the winter. People don't believe it, but it does. Or
it's so
humid in the
fast.
summer, I mean.
Yeah.
But
And then one other trick I like is kind of multitasking a few products when you're in a hurry. So, like your bronzer, you could swipe it on as eyeshadow or even some of your blush shades. All you do that is like a little bit of eyeshadow really quick and putting a little bit of your blush by your eyes kind of ties it all together anyway. So, I think that always looks really pretty.
yeah, multi-use, multifaceted. I love that too. That does sound pretty simple.
Yeah. Or
So,
using like the cream blush as your lipstick or something.
yeah,
Just, yeah.
yep. Or
Like,
oh, I used to do concealer as lips, and I was like, oh, we're not like we all did that at least once, definitely in high school, just to do it, just to try it, and it just it was not cute. But
that
you
was
know,
horrible.
we were trying to save ourselves some time. That's all we
Mhm.
were trying to do.
Yeah. I don't know why we did that, but yeah.
I don't know. You're somebody who has tried numerous products too. Before you decide, okay, I really want to trust this and I'm willing to put this on my face, what do you look for in a product?
I'm not too picky about trying things. Usually
Okay.
it kind of depends on the brand. If it's a brand that I know I've liked and trusted, I'm not going to hesitate to buy something new, like when Makeup by Mario releases a product or something.
Yes.
I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
pretty much no, that should be good. So, or if it's like another beauty guru that I trust talking about it, usually then I'm like, okay, I'll buy it as long as I don't see too many sponsored posts and they all kind of see like they're talking from a script or points that they're all saying the same thing. Because then I'm like, do you really love this product or not?
Yeah.
So something more authentic, but um, I'm always honest with my thoughts on something. So if I don't love something, I'm probably just not going to post about it on my social media.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I do love it, then I definitely will post about it.
Yeah, you make a good point about the scripting because it is so easy to tell. Like you could just tell the same brand gave like 10 influencers or whatever the same talking points and they're all using them and you're just sitting there like, y'all really don't know. Y'all really don't know. We've seen this before, especially if you're somebody that specifically is seeking out beauty content. It's like, come on, you know you're going to come across this multiple times
You know, so
every
bad.
time.
Yep.
Well, so how would you like to see the beauty industry move forward? What changes? Do you think there's any changes that need to be made? Maybe you don't.
I feel like it was doing really good for a while. Like people were staying out of drama, which was,
Mm,
but I feel like we're kind of reverting back to that now. So I'm hoping that it'll stay more like a drama free space. And I hope that brands will give creators more of just like go with the flow with whatever content they want to create rather
okay.
than giving people like scripted things to say or being so formal with it. I kind of like when people do a sponsored post like Alex Earl, if you know who I'm talking about on TikTok. I feel like a lot of brands are letting her just do like her traditional get ready with me and then
Mm-hmm.
incorporate your products in there. I kind of like that because then it's not just one dedicated video to a brand. She kind of still mixes in her normal things, but then says how she'd use this other product or just be more authentic and real like that. That would be nice. And
Yeah,
I
more of
like,
that.
yeah, and I like that people are trying to stay away from being so filtered and everything and showing more real skin, like not editing, photoshopping all the campaign images or videos. I think it's really important to show actual skin because I always used to be so self-conscious. I'm like, oh my gosh, why doesn't my skin look like that? Or
Yeah.
I use this product and it does not look like that on me. So
Yeah.
seeing real people using the products would be
Yeah.
nice.
You end up looking at all the other pictures and you're like, why do I have pores? And then
Right.
you're like and you're like, oh wait, pores are normal. Have you had it happen where you got like a lot of talking points from a brand and you're just like, oh, this is too much? Or you felt like it was kind of too scripted to begin with and you were just like, I don't know about this.
Yeah, I have definitely gotten that before. And also some where they're like, oh, in the picture, we want you to hold up the product by your face. I'm like, that is just not something I would normally do. So
Okay.
I usually try to go back to them and kind of negotiate or come up with some different terms. And usually they're pretty open to it.
Oh, okay. So that's a key thing that you've learned. Like, be willing to negotiate, be willing to stand up for your own brand for a little bit and just be like, don't know about that idea. What if we tried this instead? Like, don't be afraid to offer that instead.
Mm-hmm. It definitely took me some time to learn that you could do that. Because at
Yeah,
first I'd be like, oh my gosh, I was just so excited to be working with a brand, even if it was just in exchange for product. I mean, you have to start somewhere. But
right.
at first I was like way too nervous to even ask to change anything. But once you do it a few times or just get used to emailing or communicating with brands, you kind of figure out that it's not really set in stone unless you sign a contract, then it might be. But
Do you remember the point where you realized, like, oh, I need to advocate a little bit more, and I do need to negotiate a little bit more?
kind of. It was um, probably a few years ago before COVID hit. I found out
Mm.
about the Minneapolis blogger group where they would do in person meetups like once a month.
Oh,
I don't know if you ever went to those or not, but um,
no, I'm in Rochester in the middle of the plains, but I would love to.
I thought so.
We don't really, yeah, we don't really have too much of a blogger scene or like a creator scene. I think I'm one of maybe five that I can remember off the top of my head, but I would love to do the Minneapolis scene sometime. So you got together with some other Minneapolis
Yeah.
baddies, and then what happened?
Yeah. So every month would be a different topic. And one of the months, I believe, was like negotiation or working with brands. So
Okay.
just hearing other people's experiences and kind of figuring out what your worth is as far as like content or even getting paid. Just hearing a little bit more from other people in similar situations really helped me figure that out.
Yeah, it's important. So, are you a creator full time, or do you have another
No,
job?
I have a full-time job. I'm a social worker. So this is
Oh,
a
okay.
fun thing on the side, my creative thing.
Yeah, no, totally the same thing. That's exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing right now. And I've
Yeah.
always asked, like, because I've seen this amongst the creative community, we're so willing to share that type of information, what we're making, who we're making it with, how much, what to advocate for, what to ask about, what to use when it comes time to negotiate, when it's time to negotiate. I've always asked, why don't we do this like with our day jobs? Why don't we do this with like our real jobs?
Right. It's so
Have you
different.
it is. Like, have you ever had the same thought where you're just like, why are we not doing this like with the other jobs we have?
Yeah, I have thought about that. It seems like, yeah, like you said, people are so much more open and willing to talk about it in the creator space. I mean, some people aren't, but for the most part, people do.
They are. For some reason, I think it's just perceived as less competitive,
Yeah.
or maybe because most of us are just doing it for fun and kind of throwing
Mm.
things to a wall and seeing what sticks. Maybe that is why that environment is a little bit more, it fosters that mentality. And
Mm-hmm.
that's a big part of why I love being a part of it. And I'm sure you love it for the same reason too.
Yeah, same. And I mean, we're all different. So it's not like we're all going to have the same thing to offer to somebody else. So maybe that makes a difference too.
Yeah, it does. It's important to keep the lines of communication open. So,
Mm-hmm.
what's next for you? What can we look forward to from you?
Well, I'm trying to grow my TikTok, so I'm trying to post a lot over there, but I'm still trying to
Yeah,
figure out like what people like to see over there. Um, I don't know. I would eventually like to do this full time, but I've been doing this for a while and that hasn't happened yet. So for now, it's just a fun thing for me to do, self-care and sharing
yeah.
my love for makeup. I think I'll just continue doing that either way. And I'm not sure what else is next.
That's okay. You know what?
Yeah.
And honestly, we forget that a lot of the time. We forget that, like, oh man, I was doing this because I like to do it. Because when we see, we get that like stupid comparison bug when we look at what other people are doing online, and we're like, man, they grew really fast, or man, they're getting a deal with this brand, or wow, they are able to do this full time, and I want that, and I want to get there someday, and I'm not there yet, and what's wrong with me, and ba 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 ba. It's just that downward spiral of like, whoo, you're doing the most, and you got to tell yourself, okay, we need to take it down a few notches. You are at a 20, we need you at a 2. And
Mhm.
I don't know, I guess, what the secret is to that, but one thing that I've learned is to remember what it is you're talking about. Remember that there was a reason you did this in the first place, and that ultimately is because it was fun for you. And whether you have like 10,000 followers, a million, or 5, somebody out there is enjoying what you're doing. Do you
Yep.
have to remind yourself of that sometimes too?
I do sometimes. Yeah. I just kind of think back to like sometimes my followers will send me messages like, oh, I just love following you. And these are the reasons why. And I kind of try to remind myself of little things like that, or just even achievements I have gotten along the way, like different brands I've gotten to work with. I'm like, well, people do like what I'm doing. So,
Facts.
yeah. And whether they do or not, I mean, it makes me feel good. It's fun. It's my creative outlet. It's, like I said, my self care and helped with my mental health, even just like sitting
Yeah.
down and do my makeup. It's like me time where I can just focus on that. And that's something I've always liked about makeup or beauty or skincare is just time to focus on yourself. So
Yeah, there is something so zen about that, and I cannot figure out what it is, but I
yeah,
definitely get the same vibe whenever I'm doing that. For me, it's like, okay, I've got my beat on. You're like, we're ready. We can take on the world. We're okay. There's just
yeah,
something about
yeah, it
it.
always feels good. So
Totally does. And that's all that matters. And that is a period. That is a mic drop. Erica, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for all the nuggets of wisdom that you've shared with us. And we're going to send some people your way on TikTok. That's what we're going to do. So thank you so much for your time.
thank you so much for having me.